Okay, hi guys. This evening I just had to do a little vlog here because I've been playing a new game recently. Game Dev Tycoon, basically a game you create your own development studio and you start off as just a one-man team in your garage and you build yourself up, and I think you get 4 members of staff at the end. I've just been hearing a lot of people on YouTube, Destructoid and so on, slating the shit, if you're pardon my French, about this game, saying how it lacks depth and how it doesn't basically hold your hand as you walk through this process. Right, I struggle with games quite a bit. I'm not the best of gamers. Most of my gaming buddies will tell you, probably in the comments below, how much I suck at Call of Duty on occasion. Yeah, I can provide some support and stuff, which is, why I'm still playing it. But yeah, I've never been a big fan of the way people critique games. I always think it's a bit, well, we know that they should be doing better and we think we know best, so we're going to slate this game because it's not what we actually like. Fair enough, don't review it. If you don't like it, don't review it. There's too much negativity. I just want to I'll just give you a few comments that I've recently sort of heard. Might have to paraphrase, I'm not sure of the exact words. I will probably do a much better review when I've got some proper good gameplay footage to go with it. Basically, people are slating it because it isn't clear what you're supposed to do to make a really good game. It's like, is that not realistic? I mean, I'm a gamer. I know what I like, but even I find some games that fit all the criteria that I would want in a game. I play them, and I think they're rubbish. Other games where I'm not really a fan of that type of game, and I pick it up anyway because I get it cheap or borrow it off a friend or something, and I find out that I love it. So a game that might be shit. So it's unpredictable is what I'm getting at, and yet they want the game to hold their hand all the way through and tell them exactly where they're going wrong every step of the way. And trial and error is a big thing, I think, in game development. I don't know whether Green Heart Games, who make the game, would agree with me, but that's how I see it. And being that I've played through like the whole default sort of time frame of the game, I thought it went a bit too quick. Now, I'm not saying that it could be longer or shorter, that you can alter that in the menu, but I didn't know this when I started. That I will agree with needs to be made a little bit more clear. It needs to be open when you start up the game, so you can decide whether you want to change it, not as a little cog at the side. I suppose that's aesthetically and more, I don't know, more of a user interface thing, that tidying it up and stuff. But personally, I'm not really bothered about that in a Tycoon game. Somebody also said, in a game like this you need pretty graphics. I was like, well, no, that's why if you want pretty graphics, you play a game that's known for its graphics, not a business simulation game where basically it should be focusing on depth and, I don't know, campaign mode, flexibility and stuff like that. Now, don't get me wrong, Game Dev Tycoon does fall short, but the way people are slating it and just constantly giving negative feedback for it and saying it's, they need to hold your hand, and the graphics aren't good, they don't stand a chance with that. I think the balance of like the way the game works, trying to think of how to put it. Basically, oh, thank you very much, Apple. Bog off. Right, the way how the consoles come out, like boom, 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 and it's as if you're going through the generations that we've experienced over, say, decades, and really we're taking the slow path. That game is taking the ultra quick path, and it takes you it's like 30 years. You just go boom straight through. But I mean, I don't know. I have to do a bit of experimenting once I've sort of got to where I want to be. I was coming up to the 30-year mark, and basically there were some new features that I hadn't really explored yet because the game hadn't allowed me. The game does mention a few tips as you're going along about don't build up too quickly, and take your time, but then before you know it, you've passed the you've passed the SNES, you've passed the PlayStation 1, 2 and 3, and you're now on PlayStation 5 somewhere, and you're only just getting to where you would have been realistically in history at PlayStation 2 or PlayStation 3. It's a bit ridiculous how fast the game goes, but I mean, I think 6 hours it took me to do a 30-year game, which is pretty quick. But I would say, if it slows down, will they slow down everything else? Like, if you slow down the game, if you slow down the amount of years and how quickly the consoles etc. come out, will it slow down the game development? So in which case it won't make a difference, it'll just be a longer game. You know what I mean? Is it gonna, what would take you 4 weeks, if you slow it down like half as long, is it gonna now take you 8 weeks, or is it still gonna take you 4 weeks and enable you to produce more games for each console? Because personally, I don't want to slow the game down if it's just gonna make me produce less games. I want to slow it down so I can produce more games, so I've got more time to develop my company and get to the research and development stage before the end of the time. Because I mean, 30 years, you'd be expecting to do a bit more than what I did in my 30 years. I didn't actually get to the point where shall we say, I was able to research and develop and generally have a big pool of staff, and that's probably because, yeah, it's trial and error a lot of the time. I have heard there's a similar game called Game Biz or something. I might be convinced to give that a try. If anybody knows much about it or has any thoughts on it, please feel free to leave a comment below. But yeah, my opinion, Game Development Tycoon, top game. It's there to simplify what is a complicated process. They said if you read their website, somewhere on there it says that they're sick of Facebook games where they are badgering people into buying like extra coins and stuff like that. And it's, I don't want to buy extra coins. The free Facebook games that I do play, I just play them and I get as far as I get, and then when it starts badgering me to buy X, Y and Z and enjoy the game better, I just forget about it. But besides that, if they've got a genius little thing about piracy as well. Like, if you've got a pirate copy of the game, your game will work different, as in it will sort of, if you get the pirate version, all your games that you develop in the game will be pirated and you will struggle to make any money. Pretty clever, amusing. I can't say I've bought this game, but I can't, it's just by chance that I've bought it. I have pirated games in the past, I'm not ashamed to admit it. you know, I just don't have the money to be buying every last game that I want to buy, and I like to try these games out and show them some love in my own way. I have stopped pirating games. I don't think I really need to pirate games as much anymore. I think it'd be nice to be able to pirate PS3 games, as they seem to still be really expensive on store, but you know, I don't want to ruin my PS3, although it is on its last legs. So yeah, basically just don't listen to the people who slate this game. Give it a go, give it a try. If I think there might still be a demo around somewhere. If there is, give it a try, but don't be put off by the slow pace. It gets a lot quicker for later on. I'm hoping to put some gameplay up of my game after the story, so it won't really ruin any of the story for you. Although to be fair, the story is basically just the story of the game's consoles and so on. Then they extend it a bit further into the future. I think the last console is like the PlayStation 5 and then Xbox, but they're named different. But yeah, definitely worth a look. I've enjoyed it. I've only played it for like 6 and a bit hours, but I just could not resist basically standing up for this game, because people are slating it, and they seem to be slating it after like 4 hours of play or less. They just seem to be like, oh well, it doesn't tell me how to do this, it doesn't tell me how to do that. Well, you know, I don't know, but when I played Last of Us or any other, most games, yeah, there's a little bit of a tutorial in the beginning, but then you're left to your own devices. This game is no different. You have a little bit of a tutorial. Yes, it's not as in depth as some of the games that you play, but it's there. And most business simulations don't have any holding your hands tutorial type stuff in them. Most business sims will either get you started and then leave you on your own, and you don't get to be taught how to do that. Some of them will have a guide. That is the one thing I think Game Development Tycoon could use, a guide. And I think someone could easily create one by playing the game and just working stuff out as they go along, then producing the guide themselves. There is no reason why it couldn't be done. I mean, I'll be honest, I've been thinking about doing like making a note of things that I pick up as I'm going along the game, but at the same time, you know, I'm trying to enjoy the game as it's my first time playing it all the way through, so I want to experience everything, do it all, have a good play around, find out all the features, possibly make a few notes for the later stages of the game, and then go back to the beginning, start it, and see if I can sort of remember some of the bits what I've had to go through, and then put them all together and keep going and see if I can create something, see if I can get any better at it. I think it is a little bit random, so you know, there's a bit of humour in the game as well, so check it out, judge for yourself. You know, I'm not saying it's the most amazing game, but to those who slate the graphics and slate the fact that it's a bit like a Facebook game, read their blog, read their website, and you'll find out why it's like a Facebook game. It's sort of like their answer to Facebook games, and you know, any more information you'll get it on the website. I'll probably put a link in the description below, but yeah, I think it's fair to say I've enjoyed it, so I hope some more people will too. Right, see you in a bit.